Honorable Vice President.
Nice. Then the citation has been read. You have to announce that please request Dr. Guleria to rise.
So you can come this side, sir.
May I please request everybody to please rise for the national anthem.
शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the presentation ceremony of the 22nd Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence for the year 2021. It is a privilege to welcome the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu, Dr. Randeep Guleria, Mrs. Guleria, members of the jury, distinguished diplomats, members of Board of Governors, members of the Advisory Board of Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Shri Shastri, Chairman Board of Governors, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, and convener of the jury, Shri Sunil Shastri, invited dignitaries, eminent media personalities, and other distinguished guests. May I now request Shri Shastri, Chairman Board of Governors, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
Honorable Vice President of India, respected Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, Dr. Randeep Guleria, members of the jury, former Chief Justice of India, Justice J. Patnaik, former Secretary to the Government of India, Shri Razdan, former member of the Legislative Assembly of Delhi, Shri Shastri, Srimati Kiran Guleria, Shri Sunil Shastri, Dr. Neeraj Nishchal, Director of Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Dr. Praveen Gupta, Dr. G.L. L. Sharma, Ladies and gentlemen, It's a matter of great pleasure for me to be welcoming Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, Dr. Randeep Guleria, and all distinguished guests present here physically, and all those guests who have joined us virtually at this award ceremony from India, within the country, from Canada, America, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Uzbekistan, in Central Asia. Tashkent is the capital where Shastriji beat his last on 11 January 1966. And then, of course, Australia and New Zealand. It's a privilege for us that the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence for the year 2021 will be received by Dr. Guleria in a short while from now at the hands of our Vice President, Shri Venkaiah Naidu. The award was instituted in the year 2000 by Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Delhi, to perpetuate the memory of one of the greatest sons of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri. The Vice President has been kind enough to give away this prestigious award during the last few years. The jury of the award comprises of eminent persons from the judiciary, government, industry, and public life. The country and the world have gone through difficult times during the last 20 months. It is because of the concerted efforts of the government, the medical fraternity, various NGOs, and the people at large that there is some respite from COVID today. I do hope that things improve in the months to come and India is saved from the third wave. During these difficult times, the medical fraternity in India played a pivotal role in combating the menace of this dreadful disease. Quite a few of them lost their lives. Dr. Randeep Guleria, as head of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, along with his team, played a pioneering role in creating awareness across the nation about the COVID-19 pandemic. The dissemination of his knowledge through electronic and print media were very helpful to the people and enabled them to take necessary precautions to protect themselves from the disease. I'm sure that Dr. Guleria must be very pleased with the fact that each person here in this auditorium is wearing a mask, as he has been advising for the last 20 months. And the Vice President Secretariat has taken full care of the social distancing norms as well. I must thank the Vice President Secretariat for excellent arrangements that they have made for this program, particularly during the current pandemic situation. Whenever there is I must tell you an anecdote about Shastriji. If you have not heard this, whenever there is a mention of a hospital, I am reminded of the 1965 Indo-Pak War. When Shastriji visited the military hospital in Delhi Kent to meet and motivate the injured soldiers, my brother Sunil Shastri and I also accompanied him. In one of the wards was lying a major who was badly injured in a bomb attack. His name was Major Bhupinder Singh. When Shastriji met him, he noticed that Major Bhupinder Singh had tears in his eyes. Shastriji encouraged him and said that, "Don't worry, Major, you will be fine and fit soon, and maybe perhaps you will fight some more wars." Major Bhupinder Singh said, "Sir, the tears that you see in my eyes are not because I'm in pain, but because I can't get up and salute my Prime Minister." I noticed that Shastriji was touched and moved with the words of Major Bhupinder Singh and placed his hands on his forehead and left the room. It was after this that he gave the famous slogan, "Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan," to the country. This slogan still resonates across the length and breadth of our nation, as it symbolizes our soldiers' valor, bravery, and determination on the battlefield, and farmers' sweat and hard work on the farm fields. Shastriji as Prime Minister gave special emphasis to medical care in the country. In his inaugural speech at the special meeting of the Central Council of Health in Delhi on 19 July 1965, he said, the question of giving medical leave is not a favor shown by the government to the people. It is one of government's social objectives, like the provision of food, shelter, clothing, etc. The Health Ministry has formulated schemes to provide incentives to those who would work in rural areas. It should be ensured that hospitals and dispensaries in rural areas do not suffer for want of doctors, nurses, and compounders. Doctors who function in rural areas do not get the requisite amenities. Unless conditions in rural areas are improved, there can be no real progress in the area of medical care. Unquote. I have also been reading the statements of a Vice President during the current pandemic situation. He has focused from time to time on medical profession. In one of his speeches very recently last month, at the 11th Annual Medical Teachers' Day Award ceremony in Hyderabad on 5th September 2021, Venkaiah Naidu said, quote, medical profession is one of the noblest professions in the history of mankind. It is one of the foremost services that directly alleviate human suffering and touches people's lives. Remember the core value of compassion for humanity in all your actions. Let that be your moral compass when in dilemma, and always adhere to the highest level of ethics. If you can serve with a spirit of selfless dedication, you derive boundless and real happiness. Unquote. I shall conclude by just saying that we have got to remember that above all, what is required is hard, sustained work and dedication. This will ensure success in any endeavor which one undertakes. I will once again like to extend a very hearty welcome to all of you, particularly our Vice President, respected Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. The award. Bharat Ratna, Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri, a pragmatic and down-to-earth leader of the people of India, an exemplary statesman, an able administrator with moral and ethical attributes of a Mahatma and a person of impeccable integrity, was a great soul dedicated to the welfare of the common man. He was deeply patriotic, having dedicated his life to the service of the nation. In the words of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Shastri ji was a man of highest integrity, loyalty, devoted to ideals, a man of conscience, and a man of hard work. Shastri ji felt the need of responsive and agile administration during his tenure as a Prime Minister of India. The Constitution of Administrative Reforms Commission to streamline public administration was one among many steps he took in this direction. He simultaneously felt the need for developing high-quality institutions which would provide able administrators and managers for the future. His vision was later translated into reality when the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration was set up in Missouri by the Government of India. In order to uphold the vision of Shastri ji, Lal Bahadur Shastri Educational Society set up the Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management in 1995 in Delhi. Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management has instituted the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence. The award honors each year a distinguished Indian residing either in India or abroad for his or her sustained individual contributions and outstanding achievements of high professional order and excellence in the field of management, public administration, public affairs, education or institution building, art, culture or sports. The honor carries a cash award of Rs 5 lakh plus a citation and a plaque. The awardee's name is inscribed in the Roll of Honor of Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, and he or she is designated as a Lal Bahadur Shastri Fellow. Now I call upon Ms. Shubhangi Gupta to please read the citation.
The citation. Dr. Randeep Guleria is a renowned pulmonologist and incumbent director of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, where he also heads the Department of Pulmonary Medicine and Sleep Disorders. Born in Kangra, Himachal Pradesh on 5th April 1959, Dr. Guleria completed his school education at the St. Columba School, Delhi, and MBBS from Indira Gandhi Medical College, Shimla. Thereafter, he pursued his MD in General Medicine and DM in Pulmonary Medicine. Dr. Guleria is the first Indian to get a DM in Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine. Dr. Guleria joined AIIMS in 1992, where he was instrumental in starting the DM course in Pulmonary, Critical Care and Sleep Medicine in 2011. He has also worked at the prestigious Royal Brompton Hospital, London, as a clinical research fellow. Conferred with the Padma Shri in 2015, Dr. Guleria has been the recipient of several other international and national awards, fellowships, and orations. This includes Dr. B.C. Roy Award in the category of Eminent Medical Persons 2014, Dr. Reddy's Chest Oration by the National College of Chest Physicians 2013, the Himachal Gaurav Award 2011, to name a few. Dr. Guleria has also played an eminent role in several international fora, the prominent ones being the Center for Disease Control USA, the Scientific Advisory Group of Experts on Influenza Vaccination and Immunization of the WHO. Dr. Guleria is a member of many key committees of the Government of India, including the Joint Monitoring Committee on Outbreaks of New Diseases and the Committee for the Formulation of National Policy to Control Antibiotic Resistance in India. A prolific writer, Dr. Guleria has to his credit more than 400 publications and 49 chapters in various national and international journals and books. He has delivered more than 300 lectures at international and national conferences. Dr. Guleria worked towards improving critical patient care at AIIMS, New Delhi, and creating awareness across the nation about the COVID-19 pandemic. He has co-authored a book, Till We Win, India's Fight Against the COVID-19 Pandemic, with Chandrakant Laheria and Gagadeep Kang.
In recognition of his pioneering work in the field of medicine, the 22nd Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence for the year 2021 is being conferred on Dr. Randeep Guleria. Now I would request Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu, to kindly confer the award upon Dr. Randeep Guleria. May I now request Honorable Vice President of India to present a plaque to Dr. Randeep Guleria. May I now request the Honorable Vice President of India to kindly present a check to Dr. Randeep Guleria. Thank you, sir. I now invite the award recipient, Dr. Randeep Guleria, to kindly deliver his acceptance speech.
It would be helpful if I can. Thank you. Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, Chairman Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Shri Anil Shastri ji, Mrs. Manju Shastri ji, Shri Sunil Shastri, Honorable members of the jury, distinguished members of the Institute, ladies and gentlemen. I feel deeply honored and humbled at being conferred the prestigious Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence for the year 2021. As we celebrate 75 years of our independence with the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we proudly remember all those heroes who selflessly worked so that we could live and breathe in an independent India. And we are grateful for the extraordinary work they did to build the nation in its formative years. Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri ji was one of the great names in Indian history, both in terms of the freedom struggle and the building of the nation after independence. Shastri ji was one of those heroes who, in his own way, with integrity, devotion to his ideals, and dedication, contributed immensely to the nation. His slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, echoes through the length and breadth of our country even today. He is a role model for the new India. I'm also truly honored to have received this award from our Vice President, Manya Shri Venkaiah Naidu Garu, a true parliamentarian, an orator, and a visionary. Thank you, sir. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the eminent jury members for considering me for this prestigious award. In the last 20 months, the world has seen an unprecedented crisis which has affected every strata of life. Not only health, but also economy, livelihoods, social fabric, and humanitarian needs all became an issue during this devastating pandemic. We have all experienced how this COVID pandemic has caused an unrepairable damage to thousands of families. Doctors across the country have worked tirelessly all through the pandemic and saved millions of lives. They were initially facing an unknown enemy with medicines whose efficacy was not known. COVID management required a lot of operational management, planning, keeping in mind the unique situation each state was facing. At AIIMS, all the faculty members, staff and administration joined hands and through early planning and implementation created more than 1,700 beds with all necessary infrastructure for COVID management. We would meet every day in the morning, our faculty, residents, nursing officers, technicians and other staff and discuss daily issues encountered while taking care of patients. Every day we had new challenges and every day solutions emerged from different people. As a team, we sorted out all problems ranging from shortage of PPEs, which we had in the early days, fear among our staff and stigma, creating a COVID labor room overnight to increasing our diagnostic facilities and bed capacity. We also helped in national issues. AIIMS New Delhi has been on the forefront of policy making and treatment guidelines for COVID management. We, along with ICMR, developed a mentorship program for enhancing RT-PCR testing for the country, and now we have more than 2,500 labs, and each medical college now has an RT-PCR testing lab for COVID-19. AIIMS also developed an e-ICU program and with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare to interact with hospitals all over the country to provide support to doctors in treating sick patients. I personally interacted with more than 550 hospitals. This helped me gain insight into the challenges faced by the doctors in different parts of the country. And it was truly a humbling experience, and I really felt proud of the medical community. I remember a doctor who, while discussing COVID management, told me that he was actually a gynecologist and was running a hospital for gynecology and deliveries before COVID-19. Yet now he was wearing PPEs and managing sick COVID patients with respiratory problems in the ICU. He took it upon himself to start managing patients with COVID-19 and converted his maternity hospital into a COVID hospital. This made me realize the need to train healthcare workers in patient-oriented manner, and this resulted in us initiating our weekly national grand rounds, which was more of patient-oriented discussion. In collaboration with the Health Ministry, we also created and mentored centers of excellence in all states and regions for COVID management. Web-based training modules are also developed for doctors and public, and with the support of the Government of India, AIIMS became the model and guide for medical institutes of India in fighting the pandemic. However, we saw a lot of suffering, and this also took a toll on the doctors. I remember an incident of two of my childhood friends. Both grew up at the AIIMS campus, fell in love, and got married. Since the beginning of the pandemic, my friend would often ring me up and ask me about COVID-19 situation. I often told him that more than 80% people recover and mortality is less than 2%. However, during this dark phase First him, then his wife, his mother and daughter caught the COVID-19 infection. They were admitted at the AIIMS Trauma Center, but unfortunately, both his mother and wife passed away. When I talked to him a few days later, he cried bitterly and told me that contrary to my data of 2%, for his family, the mortality was 50%. For families that lost near and dear ones, statistics did not matter. In another case, an old patient of mine with bad asthma and severe arthritis developed COVID. She was in her 70s and wheelchair-bound, and because of her hip and knee problem, was not able to walk properly on her own. In the night, her saturation fell to less than 70%. Oxygen with the cylinder was given and advised them to come to the casualty immediately. I even arranged a bed in her emergency. Because of her arthritis, she could not come in her car. Her husband tried to get an ambulance and approached a nearby hospital for admission. Sadly, there were no beds, and even the ambulance was not available during that time. They tried all night long. Finally, in the early hours of the morning, the family shifted her to the drawing room, sat around her and chanted prayers, and she passed away with family members around her. This was the type of suffering that we saw every day. Our doctors showed remarkable courage through the COVID period. One of our residents, while shifting a sick patient on a ventilator from the casualty to the trauma center, which is our COVID hospital, noticed that the breathing tube had come out. He removed his headgear, exposing himself to the infection, and reintubated the patient in the ambulance. Had he not done that, the patient would have died there and then. This was the type of courage many doctors and many healthcare workers showed. We also saw a lot of fear and associated stigma with the pandemic. One of our doctors, who stayed on the 5th floor in a rented room in Gautam Nagar, which is just next to AIIMS, told me that every night when he goes home after his duty in the COVID ward, the landlord would lock the lift door because he was scared that if the doctor who was working in a COVID area entered the lift, he would get infected with COVID-19. So every day after his daily duty, he would climb 5 floors, but he had no complaints and jokingly said that it was a good exercise. All these extraordinary experiences helped me understand that medicine is an amalgam of both science and spirituality. As we progress towards scientific advancement, we must not lose touch with faith, empathy, as we care for our patients. And that is why medicine is both a science and an art. As I conclude, I thank the God Almighty for giving me this opportunity to serve humanity and help my fellow citizen in whatever way I could. I thank my family for their love and unstinting support, especially my wife, Dr. Kiran. In my family, all of us are doctors and all worked in COVID hospitals. My wife, myself, my son, my daughter-in-law. And there were times when we would eat separately because one of us had come in contact with the COVID positive patients. There were times when we would sleep in separate rooms for weeks because we didn't want others to get the infection. Therefore, without the support of my family, I would not have been able to fulfill my duties with utmost sincerity. As I accept this award, I dedicate it to all the doctors, healthcare workers, frontline workers, and every citizen of our country who came forward to help in whatever way they could. As Shastriji had said, loyalty to the country comes ahead of all other loyalties. For ordinary people, they became extraordinary people, true COVID warriors. And we cannot win this war without everyone's support and help. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu, to kindly address the audience. Sir, please.
श्री लाल बहादुर शास्त्री इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट के अध्यक्ष श्री अनिल शास्त्री जी, अखिल भारतीय आयुर्विज्ञान संस्थान के निर्देशक डॉक्टर रणदीप गुलेरिया जी, शास्त्री जी के अन्य परिवार सदस्य, अधिकारीगण, लाल बहादुर शास्त्री इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट के शिक्षकगण, युवा विद्यार्थी मित्रों, माननीय अतिथिगण, इस समारोह में ऑनलाइन से जुड़े हुए माननीय अतिथिगण, बहनों और भाइयों, सबसे पहले मैं देश के प्रख्यात पल्मोनोलॉजिस्ट, सफल और सक्षम स्वास्थ्य प्रशासक, एम्स के निर्देशक डॉक्टर रणदीप गुलेरिया जी को 22वें लाल बहादुर शास्त्री राष्ट्रीय उत्कृष्टता सम्मान 2021 से सम्मानित होने पर हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। भारत के महान सपूत के नाम पर प्रतिष्ठित सम्मान के लिए डॉक्टर गुलेरिया जैसे बेहतर कोई और व्यक्ति नहीं हो सकता था। It was a rightful selection by the jury. मित्रों, श्री लाल बहादुर शास्त्री जी देश के महान मूर्धन्य राजनेता थे। देश के भविष्य के लिए उनकी दृष्टि विस्तृत थी। उन्होंने देश के स्वर्णिम भविष्य के लिए स्वप्न देखा था। मृदुभाषी, स्वभाव से विनम्र, शास्त्री जी का संकल्प उतना ही औलादी था। वे अपने सादगी, विनम्रता, सत्यनिष्ठा के लिए विख्यात थे। The exemplary standards of morality in public life set by him have remained unmatched. As we know, Shastri ji took accountability for his actions, accountability for action, which is very rare quality in our public life. I always feel transparency, accountability are very much required in public service. Though it was by no stretch of imagination his fault, he resigned on moral grounds as a railway minister following a train accident which occurred due to technical failure. Shastri ji's action, including his insistence on the acceptance of his resignation, is seen to this day as the gold standard in probity in our public life. During his short span as Prime Minister of India, Shastri ji took some exceptionally bold decisions. In 1965, even while India was in the thick of a major war with Pakistan on the one hand and an acute food crisis on the other, the United States threatened to cut off food supplies to India. Shastri ji did not flinch. Instead, in a spirit which is in resonance with the Atmanirbhar Bharat of today, he promoted self-reliance rather than importing food supplies from other countries. For Shastri ji, austerity and simplicity began at home. A very famous anecdote related to his idea of conserving food supplies as one of the ways to address the problem of famine in the country. Before he asked his countrymen to fast for one day in a week, Shastri ji put this principle into action at home. He wanted to see for himself whether his children could bear hunger with fortitude. We have his sons, Anil Shastri and Sudhir Shastri ji, who would watch for me. Shastri ji asked his wife one day not to give food to their children, all of whom were not yet fully grown adults. True to their inherited mettle, the children stayed hungry for the day. It was only then that he exhorted his fellow countrymen to remain hungry for a day every week to address the challenge of countrywide famine. My dear sisters and brothers, Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri ji was indeed a very powerful leader who led the country during a very difficult period. I am intentionally using the word very powerful leader. And yet he added a new dimension to his statesmanship with his courageous decisions while taking on Pakistan in a full-fledged war in 1965. It was in this context of food crisis and armed conflict with Pakistan that Shastri ji gave the immortal slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Later, Sriman Atal Bihari Vajpayee added Jai Vignan. Then, of course, the present Prime Minister added Jai Anusandhan. A frail man standing 5 feet 2 inches tall, whom the world saw as a soft-spoken and extremely humble, Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri showed his steely resolve during the 1965 war. In a historic decision, he authorized the Indian Armed Forces to expand the scope of the conflict beyond Jammu and Kashmir across the international border with Pakistan. With the Indian Army aiming at Lahore and Sialkot, a surprised Pakistan was forced to withdraw its forces from the Chamb-Akanur sector. This move effectively forced Pakistan, which aimed at Kashmir, to go on the defensive. It was indeed Shastriji's bold leadership which changed the course of history. The international community, for the first time after independence, saw glimpses of a new Bharat. Shastriji's courageous leadership sent a strong message to the world, which can be eloquently summarized in these lines penned by one of his distinguished successors in office, late Atal Bihari Vajpayee. हार नहीं मानूंगा, हार नहीं ठानूंगा, काल के कपाल से लिखता मिटाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ. Friends, it is indeed encouraging to note that Sri Anil Shastri is actively involved in spreading the legacy of Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri among the youth of this country. Through the Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Delhi team, this institute is extremely fortunate to be part of this extraordinary heritage. All other family members who are all standing together in running this institute, they deserve really compliments. Together, you should leave no stone unturned in helping the students of Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management to imbibe the spirit of grit, determination, bravery, integrity, and humility that Shastriji was synonymous with. The Lal Bahadur Shastriji National Award for Excellence upholds Shastriji's vision and values. I am glad that it recognizes and honors people who have brought about profound transformation in their environment. I am delighted to know that the 22nd Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence for this year is being conferred upon Padma Shri Dr. Randeep Guleria, a renowned pulmonologist and incumbent director of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. During the course of my responsibility as a Vice President, I visited AIIMS a number of times to see others, patients, and also visit AIIMS to have my own checkup. I was so impressed by the team spirit which is displayed by all the members of AIIMS under the leadership of Sri Randeep Guleria ji, and also the spirit of service. It's altogether a different atmosphere when you visit All India Medical Institute. The spirit of service, Seva Bhav. Dr. Randeep Guleria needs no introduction, but some of you may not be aware that he is the second Guleria from Kangra to take the road less travelled up to AIIMS and to receive the 4th highest civilian award of India, the first being his eminent father, Padma Shri Dr. J.S. Guleria. Dr. Randeep Guleria's stellar role in creating awareness about the pandemic in recent times has not only been reassuring for all of us, but has also soothed the frayed nerves of every person who has met, seen, heard, read, speak on multiple forums on various aspects related to COVID-19. We see in him the Commander-in-Chief of India's dedicated army of frontline warriors who have been selflessly waging a tireless battle against COVID-19. It's no exaggeration to say it. During that pandemic, every one of us has went through stress. Because that was something unprecedented. We, in our generation at least, have not heard or seen. And every day it was changing course, taking a new shape. And stories from across the country used to make all of us really very sad. There, the doctors' community across the country, by and large, they really risked their lives to serve the needy, the suffering people, first through guidance, and the remarkable course of advices that were given by Dr. Guleria and his team, and also along with the ICMR, was reassuring to the people because it was throwing some light. And then we could see light in the darkness that was created because of the pandemic. The recipient of several awards and accolades, Dr. Randeep Guleria is also a prolific writer. You have just now heard how many books he has written. Through his writings are mostly related to his area of specialization. His recent book, Till We Win, India's Fight Against the COVID-19 Pandemic, which he has co-authored with Shri Chandrakant Zaharia and Shri Gagandeep Kwang, is a must-read for everyone. Dr. Randeep Guleria is widely respected for his groundbreaking work in his chosen field and is known to be a highly efficient, dedicated hospital administrator as well. The devotion with which he has nurtured the Department of Pulmonary Medicine and Sleep Disorders in AIIMS makes one wonder at times whether it was part of God's design that Dr. Guleria was there for us in these trying times of the pandemic. I was mentioning about the doctors, the other medical staff, the nurses, the technicians. They all deserve, along with, of course, security forces and also the farmers of the country. We call them as frontline warriors because they risk their life to save the lives of the people. So on this occasion, I salute once again the doctors of India who were in the forefront along with their other staff to save the lives of the people. I would like to congratulate Dr. Randeep Guleria once again on being conferred this prestigious award, which is so richly deserved. Medical profession is a noble profession. It's a mission to be fulfilled with passion for the sake of nation, without doing any omission or giving any remission. One must work with passion. And here is a living example, Dr. Guleria. Congratulations and God bless you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Shri Anil Shastri, Chairman Board of Governors, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, to please present a memento to Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu. Thank you, sir. May I now request Director Dr. Praveen Gupta to kindly propose a vote of thanks.
Words Words of thanks.
Words of thanks.
Words of thanks.
I'm
No
sorry.
vote. Okay, vote divides people.
Sure, sir.
Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, recipient of Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence 2021, Dr. Randeep Guleria ji, Chairman Board of Governors, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Shri Anil Shastri ji, Mr. Sunil Shastri, members of the jury, Dr. Kiran Guleria, Srimati Manju Shastri ji, members of advisory body, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, distinguished guests, faculty colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a proud privilege for me to say words of thanks on this award ceremony. At the outset, I thank Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, for graciously accepting our request to confer this award on a very short notice. We are extremely thankful to Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji for gracing the occasion and conferring the award on Dr. Randeep Guleria ji. Thank you very much, sir. I also thank the recipient of the award, Dr. Randeep Guleria, for kindly accepting the award and gracing the occasion. Thank you, Dr. Randeep Guleria ji. I thank Shri Sunil Shastri ji for gracing the occasion. I thank members of the jury, Justice G.B. Patnaik, Shri Anil Razdan ji, and Mr. Adarsh Shastri ji for gracing the occasion. My utmost thanks to Srimati Kiran Guleria ji and Manju Shastri ji for gracing the occasion. I also thank advisory body member Shri Sanjay Nath Singh ji for gracing the occasion. Shri Mudit Shastri ji, thank you so much for being with us. And I thank Shri Anil Shastri ji, Chairman Board of Governors, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, for being with us. I'll be failing in my duty if I do not thank the Secretariat of Vice President House, who have worked in close coordination with us in organizing this award ceremony. I thank all the dignitaries and distinguished guests who have joined us today on this evening. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem.
शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय
Honorable Vice President is requested to join the guests for tea and some snacks, please.
Doctor.